Welcome back to the Hallmarkies podcast. I'm your host, Kaycee, and today I am so excited to be joined by my friend Kate Hendrickson, who is releasing a brand new book, Into the Wild, The Christmas Switch. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about her writing journey and get to know Kate a little bit. And I'm just so excited that she is here. So welcome to the podcast, Kate.
Thanks, Kaycee. I am thrilled. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Yeah, same. And it's like the perfect time to be talking about this because the day that we're recording this is the kickoff to Countdown to Christmas for Hallmarks. Everybody's getting into the Christmas mood. We're starting to watch our Christmas movies, starting to put up the tree. So yeah, it's perfect timing.
Yes. I think I'm in Christmas mode all year long. But yes, I totally agree.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. So before we dive into the Christmas Switch, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your journey. I would love to know, were you the one that, you were the kid doodling in a notebook, writing down little story ideas, having big dreams about writing or whatever that involved, or did it just come naturally later in life? I'd just love to know your background and just your journey to writing.
Absolutely. So as a kid, I did doodle and journal and write and keep diaries and things like that, probably until I was about middle school age. And then they made you do a lot of writing about a lot of topics that you may or may not be interested in. And I kind of stepped away from writing for fun for a while. I think I still have, though, from childhood age, little books I created and made, in my the boxes of things that you keep from your childhood. So I did step away from both writing and reading in middle school and high school. And then in college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to major in. I'm going to age myself. This was when your catalog of classes was like a physical book.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a physical book. And I really just started going through the book. And I was like, what am I interested in? What sounds fun to me? And I got to the creative writing classes, the journalism classes, the broadcasting classes, TV and film classes, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. That sounds really cool. So I did. That's how I picked my major. And I majored in mass comm and journalism. So I did a lot. I had to do a lot of writing. But now when writing was assigned to me, it felt more fun. I was just older, and it felt a little bit more fun. And I think in college, a lot of times they give you a little bit more leeway to pick your topics and things.
Right.
So I really fell back in love with writing at that time. And I was a DJ for the radio station in college too.
Okay.
And I have to write copy and write things. I really loved it, and I jumped back in. And then after college, I took my degree and started working in the TV and film industry. So I started off in casting, and I worked on a movie called Glory Road. It was a Jerry Bruckheimer Disney movie about basketball. It was filmed, I'm from Louisiana originally, and it was filmed in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And there was just one moment that I will never forget for the rest of my life. It was the second movie I'd ever worked on. We were filming a huge basketball scene, tons of people in this big stadium at LSU. And I just got to sit in the bleachers kind of behind where the director was and the actors were. And I remember thinking to myself, I never want to forget this moment. This is the best thing on the planet, to be able to be a part of telling a story. I felt like I'm getting to tell a story that so many people get to see and react to, and whether you cry or you laugh at something or you're scared or whatever, I get to be a part of making that happen. And that was just really cool for me. And that was where I found that not only do I love to write, but I love to be a part of the storytelling process. So I stayed in TV and film for a few years. And then I met my husband. I moved to Los Angeles. I met my husband, and we decided we were wanting to start a family, and we were wanting to get married, and we were wanting to, a different lifestyle than what we were living in LA. And so we moved to the Pensacola, Florida area. And so that's where we are now. We've been here 18 years. And I shifted gears. I went into some hospitality work, and then I went into leadership consulting because in TV and film, not only did I do casting, but I did production coordination, which is project management, leadership, you're leading teams, you're doing those kinds of things. And then I went to hospitality, and I went into leadership and operations management. And so then I went into consulting. So I was working for a large consulting firm in Chicago for about 10, 11 years. And just left about a year and a half ago to write this book.
Wow.
and it was a huge jump from the world I was living back into, writing again.
Yeah.
I will say over the last 10, 11 years, while I was doing the consulting, as a hobby, I would write for blogs, and I would write for magazines, and I would submit articles and things. So I always kept writing. I never stopped writing, but it wasn't my job. It was a fun activity, a fun hobby that I kept doing. And then I started this book about 3 years ago.
Okay.
It was Christmas time. I was on the couch, and I was writing and getting into the characters and building this out. And I was like, I really want to write a book. And I got about 3 chapters into it, and life happens, right? Work happens. And I was still at the consulting firm at the time. So work was going on. I have 2 kids. Kids were in different directions. And it got put on the back burner. It got filed away on my computer somewhere, and I didn't touch it. And then last year was when I left and picked it back up again. So it was almost a year and a half, 2 years since I originally started the story, and couldn't stop. Like I just was getting in there and changing a little bit about what I started, and then building on it and building on these characters, and really loved the whole process of writing. So that's how I've gotten here and have a book coming out, or a book out.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And what a journey too, to go from sitting in the bleachers to going to LA to coming to the East Coast. And I know with writing and communications, you develop so many skills within the leadership realm and all of that, and then coming back to finishing Christmas Switch. Like, that is such an incredible journey, and I'm sure there's so many lessons you've learned along the way throughout your experiences. So
yeah, absolutely. It's been really fun. Really fun.
Yeah. So would you say that how has your background in journalism and such, how has that shaped your voice or discipline as a novelist? Especially going from TV, which is a totally different style of communication, to consulting, which again, that's like the business realm. And then we're diving back into the written fictional novel world. Yeah.
I would say it gave me the confidence to put myself out there. So with journalism, right? Like I'm writing an article, or I'm doing an interview and writing about someone, or even when I was in the radio station and I was talking about something, right? I grew more and more confident that I could be a storyteller, and I could do this, and I could have a voice. So then, as you move into leadership, you also need to be able to be confident and have that voice and be able to communicate with people and talk to people. And then also with the consulting side of things. So there were times I had to get up on big stages in front of tons of people to teach a lesson, or to do a presentation, or to do something. And every little thing I did like that, the writing piece and putting myself out there, the blogs, the magazines, the standing on a stage, this virtual interactions that we have now has made me more and more confident that I can do it, and I can put myself out there, and I can tell a story that I want to do that, and so it's given me the confidence to do that. So I think that's helped mold and shape me into how I've gotten here. I think my writing style and skill level has gotten obviously stronger and stronger because I've done it more and more. But I also feel like I'm feeling more and more comfortable writing about things I know and things I don't know. So what I mean by that is, like, when you're in college and you're doing journalism and you're writing interviews and you're doing articles or whatever it may be, a lot of times you have to write about a specific topic, and you don't get to put a lot of yourself into it. I think I've learned in the ability to put myself into some of the stories and relate to some of the stories and write about how I relate to them more. So I think that has really been a lot of learning over the years to help me get to that point where I feel really connected to what I write.
Yeah, that's really, that's awesome. For me, I also too was with the kid that I'm like, I'm gonna write this story, and I have like the little booklets from elementary school that the teachers will all compile and stuff, and then I'm just like over there in my junior high days writing like secret fanfics and like all of that stuff. But as an adult, like being a grown up working a full-time job and writing, those two things are so hard. I feel like, did you have that experience too? Like being a mom and, being in the corporate world and then having to shut that side off of you to do something that was more of a hobby writing? Because I too have like a chapter of an idea somewhere in my Google Docs that has not been touched since 2023. So yeah.
I would say yes, it was a big struggle. That was part of the reason why I had to put it down for a while. When I was trying to do both, I found it a little bit like cathartic, like it was to write, right? So I would sometimes either get up at 4:00 in the morning before my whole house is up and while it's quiet and write during those early hours. But it was because it was something I wanted to do and I enjoyed. I didn't mind getting up and, having that extra time. I really actually enjoyed it. Or the opposite. I would wait until everybody was in bed and then super late, I'd find myself like forgetting what time it is. And next thing you know, it's like 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
Obviously, a middle of the night, late night writer, whether it's when I'm first waking up or when I'm going to bed. But it's nice to have that like quiet. It's your own time, and so I felt like yes, it was a struggle, but at the same time, it was also a little bit of my own personal therapy that I just got, like my own, or like self-time, self-care that I just got to like have the quiet time to let my story flow.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcasts, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
It sounds like you're a pantser instead of a plotter, maybe?
I am a pantser. I'm a pantser for this story. I will tell you that.
Oh,
this story,
okay.
yes. So this story, I just, as it came to me.
Yeah.
But I'm writing something else right now. And it ranges a 70-year time span. And it follows characters through 70 years. And I was like, there is no way I can just write and keep up and keep track of what's happening when and as the time jumps and what's happening. So that one I do have plotted out and a solid outline. So I'm in the beginning stages of writing it because I spent so much time kind of mapping out what that was going to look like. So I think it depends. This one, and I know we'll talk about it. It's such a light, sweet, fun story that I just got carried away with the writing part and didn't, but really plot a lot out.
Yeah, I mean, we could dive right into the book because as I was telling you before I hit record, as I was waiting, I was like, let me just start reading a little bit of the book, and I had to remind myself to look up to make sure that you weren't just hanging out waiting for me because it is so light and it's so fun. I'll go ahead and read the synopsis from the back for everybody else who hasn't seen this book yet. So Here's the book, The Christmas Witch. This is my card. So cute. So the tagline is, they swapped Christmas duties to prove a point. Now everything's unraveling. Allie Crawford is the queen of Christmas, a type A mom with color-coded lists, perfectly wrapped gifts, and a spreadsheet for every holiday detail. Her husband, Tommy, he prefers cookies over checklists and believes winging it is a holiday strategy. When the stress of the season reaches a breaking point, Allie and Tommy make a bold move. They switch roles for the holidays. She tackles tall ladders and tangled lights. He signs up for Santa duty. Neither of them are ready for what comes next. As holiday plans go sideways and missed traditions pile up, the couple must decide what matters most. Can they salvage the season and their sanity before Christmas morning? Honestly, so relatable. So relatable, right? At least to people like me. I, too, am a bit of a crazy mom where I have to have the lists and the plans and the planner and okay, we've got this kid going here and this kid going here, and this kid needs cookies and this kid needs stockings and this needs juice for their holiday Christmas party and, all the things.
Right? All the things.
Whereas my husband's like, we'll figure it out, morning of, it's fine. We'll pick it up. I'm like, no. So it's so fun. And I think this will definitely be so relatable to a lot of people out there who have, whether or not they're in a relationship, maybe it's like they're living at home with parents, maybe their parents. I know my parents are not type A. So I think this is a really relatable storyline for everybody. So did this come from perhaps personal inspiration?
I will say I am not quite as type A as Allie.
Okay.
I definitely am organized and
yes.
have a plan and have my traditions that I can't shake. I'm also really easygoing if something changes. If we have plans for something and last minute everything's kind of getting switched around, I can roll with it.
As long as it's being communicated beforehand,
right? Right. I don't want to get somewhere and I'm like, wait a second. And then I would say my husband is not as laid back as Tommy. He's a little more, he's more chill than me, but he's not quite as laid back. He kind of likes to plan too a little bit. He wants me to tell him the plan. He's like, he's good. He wants to know a plan and what are we doing and how are we doing it. But so there's a little touch of both of us in there, but it's definitely not based on either one of us. It is, but I write when I was talking about how I write things I can relate to and write things I personally connect to. I do feel like I started out that way, the story, where I was really leaning into some of our traditions that I put in there, or some of the conversations my husband and I have had, and then I started to evolve the characters and they started to shift and be not quite as much like me or not quite as much like my husband. And then I went back and kind of made some changes in the beginning, and now they're not really they're not us, if that makes sense.
For sure.
But so I was inspired by us and other married couples and friends who are married couples and my parents and married couples around me, but it's not based on any particular couple.
That's fair.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too, and we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're two judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, but does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
How did you develop the idea of the switch? I think that's a really fun concept. I've seen switches done where on say a Hallmark movie or whatnot, but it's not typically in this setting. So I think that's a really fun twist to it, because it's a husband and wife swapping duties, not necessarily, the other switches that happen, the body switches or,
Exactly. You're right. So you have the ones that are the magical body switch. They wake up one morning, or they wished on a stone, or whatever it is, right?
Yes. The Freaky Friday moment,
Right, Freaky Friday, absolutely. And then they magically switch bodies. So there's that. And then there's also, I've seen there's a couple of like sister swap theme movies on
Yes,
Hallmark. So
yes.
there's one that Kimberly Williams Paisley did with her actual sister, with Ashley. Like they are sisters who switch places and like live each other's lives for a
Yes.
little bit during Christmas. And then there's also the one with Candace Cameron Bure, the Switched for Christmas, where she plays like a twin. They're twin sisters.
Yes, that's
and they switch places and don't tell anybody they're switching places.
Right.
And they live each other's lives for a little bit during Christmas. So it's very similar concept to those types of things. But no, I hadn't seen the husband and wife switch either. So if it's out there, I haven't seen it. And I've kind of done my research and looked, and I was like, I don't see anything else like this. But it does, mirror some of the other switch type like storylines and that we've seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your protagonists, Ellie and Tommy. Is there anything else that inspired their personalities? Like, obviously you said earlier that it kind of started off as like, oh, this would be kind of a funny hyperbole of like, me and my husband, and then it just evolved into something else. But were there any other things that that you kind of took from different parts of life, or pop culture, or anything like that to craft their characters?
Absolutely. So this is a funny story. About a little over a year ago, I got a phone call from my mom, and she said, I have to tell you something. She said, your dad wants to go sing karaoke tonight. And she's like, you should come surprise him. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there. This is like a Tuesday night. And raining. It's like raining. It's a Tuesday or Thursday night. Where they were going was like 20 or 30 minutes away. But I was like, I'm not missing this. Yeah. And I will say, my dad has always enjoyed like karaoke, and like he'll go line dance. So like if there's a wedding, he's on the dance floor like doing the wobble, right? Like he is. So it wasn't that far away from his normal character, but at the same time, they've never just like gone on a random Tuesday night to like a random place just to go do karaoke. Right. So I laughed. I went and surprised him and met him there, and it was at this. I don't think it was like a VFW, but it was like a little hall, hall. And I will say I was the youngest person there by, I think my parents are 30 years older than me, so probably by 30 years. Yeah. And these senior singers were having the time of their life. I am telling you. And it was this like little place. There was like a handwritten banner that somebody had wrote karaoke, and there was like a DJ or somebody running the music. There was a disco ball and some lights in the top, and a like small little dance floor, and then tables. And it was a small little building. And these people, I am not kidding, like they were having the time of their life on this rainy Tuesday night, singing all these like old songs. And this guy in a walker like walked up there really, really slow, and I think he sang "My Girl" or something, right? And so I was at a point where I wanted to add a little bit more like fun. So spoiler alert, there's a karaoke scene somewhere in the book. And everything I was writing about, I was describing that exact building and setting and people. And it was I think I came home the very next day and I was like, I need to like write this down. Yeah. So that was like a really fun like thing that inspired probably one of my favorite parts of the book. So there's that scene for sure. I will say the storyline is set in Fairhope, Alabama, which is like like if you haven't been there, it's the smallest, like that small. It's quaint. It's a very quaint little town that I love, I adore, and it's just like to go to the shops and go to the little restaurants and like go to that area. And so I decided to place the setting there just based on my own love for that town. So that was like some kind of real life stuff that inspired the book too. As far as their personality traits, to be honest, they just kind of evolved as the story evolved. I think
they took a life of its own.
They did. They're and this is the crazy thing for me. It's like they feel like mine. Like Allie and Tommy are mine. They're like my friends. And so the crazy thing is that it's about to be like out and be everybody's friend. Like it's about to be out in the world, and like I have to share them now. But yes, they're they have evolved and become their own people along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly sounds like a perfect Hallmark movie. I mean, the premise, the scenery, I mean, I don't know if you knew this, but they actually filmed a Hallmark movie a year or two ago in the Fairhope, Mobile area. I think it's called Spring Breakthrough. So
Yes. I couldn't remember the name, but yes, that was it. Yep.
I mean, it is possible, and Fairhope is such a cute little time, you know? So do you have any ideas of who you would love to play Tommy and Allie for your book if it became a movie? Have any ideas?
That's a great question. Okay, this is Dream World, right? So we're
Dream World. Yes, you can dream big.
I'm dreaming big.
Yeah. You can, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, so obviously the Queen. I mean, like Lacey Chabert could play anything, but to play like the Type A, like has it all together for Christmas, I think she could pull that off like so well.
Yes.
And you know who she has? What is his name? That she has worked with a couple of times. Oh, Tyler Hines.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like with like his kind of like if when he has like kind of like that shaggy beard and like his hair's a little longer, like I feel like he could pull off like laid back husband, and they have good chemistry. Like they work well together. So in like Dream World, like if I put my casting hat back on again from my old my casting days years ago, that would be so fun to see the two of them. Lacey's also from the South as well, I think. Mississippi, I believe.
Think so. Yeah.
So that would be kind of fun. I think another one would be fun. I have no idea if he can act, but if Kimberly Williams Paisley could get Brad Paisley to play. Like, I was like, I feel like she like could totally play the Allie role, right? Like I think she could be put together mom for sure. And then he seems like he'd be he's a musician. Like I feel like he would be like kind of like laid back and fun and whatever. So I have no idea if he can act, but that would be really fun. Tim McGraw can act, so he can.
Yeah, I mean. Exactly.
But those would be some fun ideas.
Yeah, those are really good. And Lacey has that party planning TV show on Hallmark now. So I mean, like you got the planning already in there. It's like part of her brand. So I can totally.
I even feel like as she has been a mom, like. But I did not do my research here. I don't know how old her daughter is, but she's like 10-ish, maybe.
I think she's about
12-ish. 10, 12.
Yeah.
I even feel like she's been able to just grow in her roles as playing a mom because she now has that experience to reference. Yeah. So I think she would be so fun.
Yeah. The first one that came to mind for me was Nikki DeLoach.
Oh yeah, I absolutely could see that too, for sure. Yeah,
and she's from Georgia or something, so she could totally play that.
Yeah.
And then for the guy, who was I thinking? I was thinking somebody like Benjamin Ayers. He's one. He did the Santa Claus last year with Kimberly Susted, and they did a shout out to Pensacola, which was like, oh my gosh,
right.
Remember that?
I heard that. I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
That was really fun. Yep.
Those are some fun ones. But yeah, we'll put it in the universe. Like, we'll put it in the universe. We'll make this a movie.
All right.
We'll have Lacey and Tyler.
Yep. I would love to not only get back on a movie set and have that experience again of like being a part of a story, but it to be my story. Dream come true.
I know, that would be so fun.
Yeah.
So what is let's see here. What do you hope readers take away from the Christmas Switch after finishing it? Is there a message or feeling you aim to leave them with?
So as far as a message, I think it's really just that appreciation for your significant other, like I think, or whoever it is in your family. I mean, even if you're a single mom and there's somebody who like helps you out here and there, but you feel like you're doing everything on your own, or appreciation for other family members, however you plan your Christmas or plan your holidays or anything, throughout the year. I think having that appreciation of like everybody's strengths are, and what we do for each other. And at this time of year is nice because you can get completely overwhelmed with the to-do list, and so taking a step back and appreciating each other.
Yeah.
But I would say at the end of the day, when people read this book and they like flip that last page, if it made you happy, I will be thrilled. Like, I just want to bring happiness, especially at this time at Christmas. It can be stressful. Like, it can be financially stressful. It can be, if you've lost a loved one recently, that can be emotionally stressful. If you're doing it by yourself, that can be stressful. Like, there's just a lot of stress sometimes that's evolved around the holidays. I love Christmas. Obviously, I write about it. But there's also that other side too. So if I can bring some like joy and happiness, or like let a mom after the craziness of everything that's going on, like read something that's just like, man, that made me happy. That brought me joy. That made me laugh. Like, there's some really funny parts too. Like, that made me like, I want people to like feel something and feel, so at the end of the day, while yes, there's a lesson in there, I think it's more like, let's just like bring happiness to each other at this time, around Christmas.
Yeah. And then do you have any like ideas for sequels, spin-off ideas in your mind? I don't know if there are any side characters that could take a life of its own, or do you have anything maybe that could happen from the Christmas Switch?
I love that you asked me this, because originally I was kind of like, all right, I'm wrapping this one up. Like, this one is like a kind of like a one story. We follow this family around, but now it's, where does this go from here? We follow them for a month. I'll say that. I'll share that with everybody. We start at Thanksgiving and we end at Christmas. So the whole book happens in about a month time frame. So I'm like, where are we going next with this family? So I, in my head, had been like, I'm gonna, this one's done, and like, time to move on to the next. I'm gonna write it about somebody else. And then I was talking to a friend about it who had read it for me, to give me her opinion, and we, chatted about it. And there's this like character his name's Luis. He works with Tommy, the husband, and I'm not gonna tell you what they do for work because it's kind of fun. And then if you listen to this and then read the book, you'll be like, oh, I see where she got that from. But he is hilarious. Like, he is funny. In my head, I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't even remember like my physical description of him, but in my head, he's like Mexican, Latino, like wears a trucker hat, just like super cool, super funny. Like, he's the guy, like life of the party when he walks in a room. Like, he's just like such a fun person. Everybody wants to be around him. It's just such a fun person to be around. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, if I could like sidebar this into something else, like some kind of sequel or some kind of like another character gets their own storyline, it would totally be Luis. Be Luis. Like, I could have some fun there.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I'll have to look out for that, and then I'll let you know. Yeah. So you did hint at writing something new. You're working on a new project. What can you tease about your upcoming projects and your upcoming novels? I would love to get a little teaser there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if I could plan my whole future, or not my whole future, but the next 5 to 10 years, I would love to just write and write and write, because I am loving every second of this. Like, even the editing and the things I didn't think I would love as much, loved it all. So right now, the one I'm working on is another Christmas story. So potentially what would happen is about this time next year, we're doing this again. We'll do another podcast. We're doing this again. And the next one's coming out as well. So I kind of thought, for the next, as I'm figuring all of this out, for the first couple of years, every year I'll put out a Christmas. Like, what to expect from me. I'm going to put out a Christmas story. But, as time evolves and as I get better and stronger at it, and I continue to write, I wouldn't mind, like, leaning into some of the other holidays or seasons or whatever it may be. I think the Hallmarky genre is my niche. I might go a little deeper in the next one. I actually probably will go a little bit deeper in the next one, but still kind of that lighter side of things is really what I enjoy writing. The next one is, I said it spans over a 70-year time frame to follow 4 characters, best friends who had been best friends since they were 5, and we get to follow them through their lives. And so that's my little teaser. That I feel like also, you know, we can all relate to. Somebody, we've all got a friend or a cousin or somebody who's been there through thick and thin from childhood to, you know, adults, or I hope we all do have that person, right? So I think, so that's a little bit of a teaser of what's coming next.
Okay. That's super exciting. So if it spans over 70 years, so I'm guessing it ends in modern day. So we're going
Correct.
back. Okay.
We're gonna flash back a little bit.
Okay. That'll be fun.
It's been really fun, but again, with like the plotting aspect of it, you know, with Christmas Switch, I was able to just like write, and you know, I could picture everything in my head, and because it was all modern day, and could have happened yesterday, or you know, this year, or 5 years ago, whatever. But this one, I'm like doing tons of research on. I'll say the book starts in 1969.
Okay, yeah.
And who knows, that could change. You guys might read this next year. The year might change. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I'm doing a lot of research on what things look like and what people wore, and like pulling up images. Thank goodness we have access to all of that stuff now. But I am doing a lot of that so I can really describe things accurately.
I wasn't born
I wasn't alive in 1969, so I don't really have a frame of reference. A lot more planning and research and plotting with this one. I think once I get to the point where I was born, so I was born in 1982, I think anything like late 80s and beyond, I'm going to be more like I am just going to be like, go.
Yes.
But you know, some of the earlier years, I'm you know, taking a little bit more research.
Yeah, but that is so fun too. I mean, like the setting of the 70s. I think as a child, from a child's point of view, that has got to be so fun. And then like child in the 70s, and then teenager in the 80s, and you know, then we get into you know, everything else. But I think also just the perspective, because you know, obviously, like I was born in 90, so my whole childhood was the 90s. Right. So anything before that, it's like you're almost like reliving somebody else's childhood in that era, which is so different than what we grew up in. And I don't know, I think that could be so fun. And you know, I would love to visualize all of that through a story and such, you know, so that's super.
I think the biggest thing for me is that I'm figuring out with this one is how to actually to bring all my ideas, like narrow it down. It's kind of like a funnel, right? Like right now I've got like so much plotted out and so much planned and so many things that I want to happen. And I really need to kind of like funnel it into like what's really going to stick and what's going to happen, because it's also important to me with Christmas books that they're not too long, because again, you're busy and there's a lot going on at this time of year, and you don't always have time to like do a ton of reading. Christmas Switch is 200 pages. Like it's not, you know, it's an easy read, and I want to keep anything that I put out at Christmas time, I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a burden to read it. It feels like a nice, you know, escape.
Nice little getaway.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
And one thing we also didn't touch on, which I meant to talk about a little bit, you are self-publishing, correct? Yeah.
Yes, I am. And I'll tell you how I made that decision, because that was also a tough decision of what am I going to do? And I think part of it was probably because I started this 3 years ago. I was ready to like make it real.
Yes.
So I had a book coach. I have a book coach. I still have a book coach. She's fantastic. Ann Brooks is her name. Yes. Shout out. You know Ann too, I think, Kaycee.
Yes, I listened to that podcast, by the way, which was fantastic. I did for research. That's why I knew you were self-published.
So she's my book coach, and we started probably right about the time I picked it back up. I reached and called her, and I was like, I'm writing, and this is going to happen, and I don't know what I'm doing, and and so her and I would meet for dinner probably once a month-ish, and I would just like brain dump all my questions and all my things, and I'm like, what do I do, and how do I do this, and what do I do about this, and so I would say probably about this time last year, she read it, and she was like, I think it's good enough to start querying agents. And she's like, you need to, so she gave me the whole rundown of like, how you query an agent, and what do you do, and how do you write a query letter, and she, edited my query letter, and we went through it. Like, she just really like helped me with every step of that process. So I started doing that, and I was sending it out to agents to see what would happen. And I got a couple of responses, which is awesome, and had a couple of conversations. But ultimately what I found out is they were on like a 2-ish year timeline. And I was like, so think about it, like, so that was probably by the time I had those conversations, that was December, January of this past year, like 24, 25.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so wait, writing this book for 3 years, and now it won't be published for another potentially 2 years, and that's if there's no delays and nothing happens. Right. And so I was really torn on, what do I do? Do I go traditional publishing and like let them lead the way and like go, work with these agents, or do I do a hybrid approach where I still work with a publishing company, but I also do, it's like a you self-publish and have a publishing company that you're working with at the same time, or do I just do it myself? And ultimately decided that I wanted to make the decisions, and I wanted to be on my own timeline, and if I wanted to get it out this Christmas, I needed to make sure that happened, and I didn't want to rely on anybody else to do that. So I kind of worked as if I was a publishing company, worked with Anne very closely. She knew, she was able to guide me through the whole thing, but hired all my professional editors, hired all the cover designer, the interior designers. I mean, all the professionals you would get in traditional publishing did this. I did it the same way. I just did it on my timeline instead of theirs. So, so that was really ultimately why I made that decision. I kind of feel like it was hybrid publishing because I used all the publishing resources because I really wanted to be proud of what I put out there, and so I did. That's where we're at. That's why I made that decision.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, Bryn Donovan was your not publisher, your editor, right?
She was my editor. Correct. Yes.
Because we've had her on the podcast before too. Because I think she was part of Hallmark Publishing before they disbanded a few years ago. So so when I heard that, I was like, oh, there's a little Hallmark connection.
Yes, she was amazing to work with, and I'm so glad we partnered on this together because she had the experience and the history in this genre and with these kind of themes, and so she was really able to give me some great insight, and so it was really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to end on a fun note. I mean, this hasn't been super fun, but a fun lightning round kind of dealio here. So just quick, fast, easy answers. So the first one being, what's your favorite Christmas movie? It doesn't have to be Hallmark, by the way. It could be like anything.
Okay. I'm going to say Bad Moms Christmas. I definitely have like the traditional ones that I love, and the sweet ones that I love, and the Hallmarks that I watch every year. But man, Bad Moms Christmas is fun. Like, I mean, it's hilarious. So maybe that one. I don't know.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's one holiday tradition you love?
So when my son was probably about 4, we went to church for Christmas, and it was during the time where they were, the preacher was speaking, and he said something. I don't even know what he said, but then my son looked around and went, "Mom, Jesus is dead?" And I was like, everybody around us in the church were laughing, and he was like, "Did he get shot?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, I have not done well with my religious education," because so it was probably 3 or 4. So then we went home and explained to him one-on-one, why we celebrate Christmas and why, why Jesus is connected to it. So then he said, well, can we make Jesus a birthday cake? And I was like, well, yeah, we can. And so now every year, my son's 13 now. So every year since he's been about 3, we have made Jesus a birthday cake. So typically we got like a chocolate cake with sprinkles for Christmas, or we'll have like a funfetti cake or something. So that's a fun one that like came out of like a funny story, and now it's become like a family tradition.
Yeah, that's so sweet and hilarious. Let's see here. What Christmas song do you love most?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm a traditionalist. I like why none of the names are even coming to me at the moment, but I like more like instrumental stuff. And now I'll listen to a good Jingle Bells or anything else, November 1st for me, like the radio was on Christmas for sure, or I'm listening to a Christmas audiobook. Like there is Christmas happening from November 1st to December 31st in my world.
Yeah.
I really do lean a lot on some of the just more classical, instrumental type stuff. Especially when I'm by myself, because my family prefers Jingle Bells and
all the fun,
Frosty the Snowman. Yeah, so But if I'm listening by myself, I like all that.
All the traditional
stuff.
Yeah.
Give me a Michael Bublé, like Celine Dion. Soundtrack.
Yeah. So I think you answered my next question, but my question was going to be, when does Christmas start for you? You said November 1st, so.
Well, now that I write Christmas books, I'm gonna say I'm a writer of Christmas books, because you guys are gonna get another one next year. It's year round for me, but truly, like in our household, it is November 1st. And I am totally fine with giving it a Christmas break for the week of Thanksgiving. So I'm like, I'm not forgetting Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving too. But like the second Halloween's done, I am in Christmas mode. And then the week of Thanksgiving, I'm all about the Thanksgiving, all about the turkey, all about the family, all about the giving thanks and grateful, and let's do all those things. And then I jump right back in the day after Thanksgiving, back into Christmas. And then it typically lingers until New Year's. Like typically Christmas music is still playing and Christmas movies are still on until we get past New Year's, and then I have to put everything away.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I was actually talking to one of my AVPs at work, and she said, as soon as my son gets home from trick or treating, we're like taking everything down, putting the Christmas tree up. Like, I'm like, that's fair. I respect it. I totally respect it. Yeah. So, are you a Christmas with Christmas lights? Do you prefer white lights or colored lights?
I prefer white. My kids prefer colored. So we kind of have a little bit of a like hodgepodge around our house. We have white on the outside of our house. Okay. Christmas tree changes, so the kids like the colorful lights, so we'll have typically a little bit of both. I think not that I want it to happen too fast, but I think when like they're off living their own lives, I'd probably go back to just the white lights. I don't know, but it's their holiday too, so I have to.
That's fair.
But yes. But my personal preference is the white lights.
Yes. I love the white lights too. Then everybody else, they're the colored lights. So our compromise is you can do whatever you want to the front of the house, but I get my white lights on the tree.
Yep.
That's all I need. But they also have their little Christmas trees, and so they get to have the little fun lights on there too. So I mean, like we've compromised here. But,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, our outside looks like a little hodgepodge of like Christmas like things. Every year they go to Walmart, they get the little blow up like a pig with a Santa hat, and then the dog, or like the Hello Kitty. I mean, like it's just a hodgepodge of. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Yeah. Children live here.
I feel like your Christmas decorations evolve over time. Or I guess change, not even evolve. Like they just change over time. I found when I first had my own home and my own tree and my own stuff, like I wanted everything to be like classy, and I wanted everything to be like, pristine and white lights. And to be honest, it wasn't like a lot of fun stuff. It was like a lot of just like traditional looking, Christmas decorations, a theme tree with the colors and stuff, and I was still like that, but Anyway, so then the kids, as you start having kids, you start incorporating a little bit more like more Santas, more reindeer, more like snowmen, more of this and that. And like your home just, I will say, evolves, over time. And I can also see, though, when they go off and have their own homes, like some of these things may go with them.
Yeah.
They have their own traditions. So my oldest, Santa brings him a nutcracker every year, and my youngest, Santa brings him a snow globe every year. So they both have a nutcracker collection that we put out in a snow globe. So those will probably go with them at some point. I have a Christmas village that I add to every year. So, but I think it'll be interesting out, as they get older to see how our Christmas decorations evolve. But right now we've got singing Santas and we've got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we've got this plastic mistletoe with he's got like a little French face on it, and you walk by and he's like, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas, and he'll like make some little disses at the kids, like obviously appropriate, but they just love it. It's like the kid humor of it. I'm like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, totally. You just go for it.
yeah, just whatever brings you joy in this season,
Right.
You want to Peppa Pig tree for your kid because that's what's going to make them happy, by all means.
Right. Well, yep, let's do it.
Not the battle we're going to fight this year.
Yep. And we have all the handmade gifts. I mean, the handmade like art projects and ornaments and things that are, end up displayed around the house. So, yeah, you just end up.
Yeah, so fun. Final question: do you have a fun holiday drink that you enjoy this time of year?
I don't like drinks that are too sweet. Like I like things that are on the drier side. So maybe like a cranberry martini. Oh, were you even talking about cocktails? I should probably.
Hey, whatever you want to interpret that as.
I was like, oh wait, she might just be talking about hot chocolate. I don't know.
No, whatever you want to interpret.
Okay, I will say like some kind of. I like a little cranberry martini or a little something that is, not quite as sweet, but festive.
Yeah.
Oh, like when you mix in like a rosemary, like cranberry rosemary, like some of like an herby thing.
Yeah.
That stuff's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like that it is a nice treat. Not something I drink a lot of, but like, a couple of times during the holiday season.
Yeah, as you should. So
Right.
Yeah, fun times. Well, it's been fun chatting, getting to know your journey, and learning more about Christmas Switch and everything else that's to come. Congratulations, by the way, on the release of your book. Again, I'm going to show it to everybody. Christmas Switch by Kate Hendrickson. It'll be available November 4th.
Yes, 4th.
November 4th. Anywhere books are sold, so make sure you get the book. It's
Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million, all the places, all the book places, wherever you shop for books, that's where you can find it. And I also have a website, so if you are having trouble finding it, maybe you can find me. It'll have links. A lot of local bookstores are carrying it, which I am so grateful and thankful, and shout out to all of them. And so I plan to have all of those listed on the site as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then where can people follow you on social media? And go ahead and share your website too, so that we can have that shared.
Sure. My website is kate-hendrickson.com. I will say there's an artist out there that's katehendrickson.com, so I have a dash in between the Kate and the Hendrickson. So kate-hendrickson.com is my website, and you can find podcast recordings and where to find the book and more about me or reach out to me. So that's there. And then I'm on Instagram, A.W. Hendrickson on Instagram. I am on TikTok, but I'm not great at TikTok. I'm there. I put a few things out there, but it's there if you want to find me. I'm trying. I'm trying.
I hear that. Awesome. Well, y'all go follow Kate. Go get her book, and then don't forget to follow the Hallmarkies podcast. If you don't already follow us, make sure you share this podcast with your friends. Share this book as well. You'll see us posting about it, and share it with your friends, because it'll make a great Christmas gift, holiday gift, whatever you want.
Like teachers, right? Like
fun teacher gift, maybe. Teacher gift, mom gift. So
mom gift.
Go ahead and find this book, gift it to your friends, gift it to yourself, follow the podcast, follow Kate, follow me, and we'll talk again later. So thanks so much for coming back on, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll talk again next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Kaycee.
Thank
Bye.
you.